second chance in the game.
Okay, so what's in store? In about over the next hour or so, we're going to go through. First of all, we're going to kind of kick off. I'll give you a brief history of T-Birds. It's relevant because we've traditionally been a split back veer offense, big running offense, and I'll tell you why in a second. Then we're going to go through air raid principles that you as a coach need to know when you're installing it, or when you're trying to convince your head coach or your athletic director that we should go air raid versus the traditional run game. And then I'm going to get into the facets of air raid and really show you what you need. And you're going to see that we only have 5 pass plays and we only have 3 run plays. I'm going to show you how simple it is to get your kids to master these small group of plays and then go out there and put up big numbers. And the most important thing is let them run around, have fun, just like they do on a 7-on-7 field or on a flag field. They're going to play that same style of play, but we're going to do it systematically, and they're going to really have fun doing it, okay? So before we get into the X's and O's, and I am going to take you through our playbook, diagram plays, and then get into film and show you and prove to you that it's capable. You are capable of doing this, and the kids are more than capable of playing this style of ball. Let me just clear my throat a little bit and get on my soapbox, okay? Because I am extremely passionate about football, and especially youth football. And as most of you have probably seen, the numbers are dwindling. And a lot of you guys might be high school coaches, so you're kind of seeing it at the freshman levels and maybe even into varsity to some extent. But at the youth levels, they are low. And I do believe it's because of the safety concerns and maybe the systematic attack on tackle football that's happened over the last handful of years. I do believe that's a big part of it, but I also believe that also happens because in youth football there's a certain style of football being played, and unless you fit that specific criteria as a kid, you're not really going to get a chance to touch the ball. So I grew up in the wing T. I was a 2-back. I love running power. I love getting the ball a ton. But as you might know, that's one position dominating the ball. So if you're a running back or maybe a quarterback, there's a lot of Wildcat coaches out there now, and that's a great offense too. Those profiles for players fit a very certain type of body type and a very specific type of player. And I think when parents ask kids, do you want to play football? Or if the kid asks the parent, can I play football? And the parent says no, there's not much pushback going on from these kids because they know that if they don't fit that one specific body type or one position type, they're not going to get the ball anyway, okay? So in an offense like this where we can come up to the line of scrimmage, there's 2 wide receivers on both sides, there's a running back and a quarterback. So that's 6 people in this offense that can get the ball essentially on any play. And I'm going to show you how that works. But everyone comes up to the line of scrimmage engaged, looking at the defense for certain specific keys, and they might get the ball. Post-snap, they're running full speed because they might get the ball. That's a different type of mentality that you just don't get with running the wedge with a Wildcat quarterback, or running 24 crossbuck over and over with the 2-back. So I just think if we spread the ball around, let these different players touch the ball and bring in basketball type of players in youth sports and bring in soccer players. And I know that doesn't sound like it's something that's common, but guys, we need different athletes. We need kids to choose these sports, to choose football again. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, hey, a kid should just come, if we put them at a certain position and they don't get to touch the ball, they should just be happy with it and find a way to help the team. And guys, I'm 40 years old. I was born in 78. I grew up playing wing T, smash mouth football in the 80s and 90s. I get that mentality. But the truth is, times have changed. And the real truth is, kids can pick any other sport. They can have more choices than ever. They can pick one sport year-round. They can play baseball year-round now and basketball year-round now if they really want to. So the truth is that we need to give these kids a reason to come after flag season, come out to tackle season. It's the same type of ball now. We can throw the ball around. They can all we're doing is putting pads on. After 7-on-7, they can come out to the tackle field and play that same style. The style they love, running around, throwing, the style that they see on TV in college. High schools now are all running spread. 8 of the 10 teams in our high school league above us all run spread. So guys, let's let them play in the style that they want to play. And I'm going to show you how easy it's going to be to do this, okay? Okay, so quickly about T-Birds. So like I mentioned, we are celebrating 60 years, or we just celebrated the 60th year this past season. We're going on 61 in 2020. We are in Northern California, and one of the 3 or 4 major Division I schools that we feed into is De La Salle. Famed De La Salle in Concord, California. There's a lot of Danville ties, which is the town we live in, to De La Salle. The offensive coordinator for the last decade at T-Birds, the varsity level, the 14 and under level, was the offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Hall of Famer from De La Salle. He's been calling the split back veer at our level. We've had a ton of success. 8 of the last 10 years, they were in the Turkey Bowl, which is our championship game, right? So there's a lot of success and a lot of tradition here in split back veer, in power I, in running the ball. And those are all great attributes for kids to learn. So coming into the season, as a first-year head coach at this level, being in this area for the last 10 years, I have 5 kids playing sports. I know for a fact these kids can throw the ball around. I know for a fact, watching 7-on-7 and flag, that these kids at the 8th grade, 7th grade level very much can throw the ball around. But the biggest pushback I got when I came in as a head coach was that they could not. And having a guy like that in a coaching staff that has that traditional split back veer De La Salle tradition, I want their buy-in, guys. I don't want them to go anywhere. I don't want them to feel like I'm just like pushing them out the door. I need that type of knowledge on my staff. I need that type of knowledge running my run game and bringing that intensity to the line. I need that. So I wanted to get their buy-in to some extent, and I wanted them to feel comfortable with it. But they just kept saying kids at this age can't consistently run and catch up and down the field for a whole game, not to mention a whole season. And I was just convinced of the fact that was not true. And so after a bunch of meetings in the off season about this time last year, I feel like I got them more comfortable with that idea. And then we headed into the season, and the rest is history. So after the season, the dust settled. We were 10-2. We only lost to 1 team the whole season. They just had our number for whatever reason. But in the end, we became NorCal champions. So the Turkey Bowl is the league title. This year, there was a combined effort between leagues to crown a NorCal champ, and we were that. We were able to achieve that for these kids, and that was a ton of fun. Our point differential was plus 199, as you can see here. Passing stats, for 8th graders, 7th graders, 14 years and under, 1,655 yards and 30 touchdowns passing. Okay, 29 of those coming from one quarterback who was just a super smart kid, and we were lucky to have him. Bright future. Rushing stats, and trust me, like I said, I'm a running back. I want to run the ball. 1,447 yards rushing with 14 touchdowns. Okay, we ran, and I'm going to get into our running plays with our gap scheme running that we had, but I'm not going to forget about running, and I want to do that. And you're going to be able to do that with this scheme. Explosive plays. Okay, so this is kind of a funny one. Before the season, there was an article by the Penn State head coach, John Franklin, I believe his name is, Coach Franklin, and he wrote an article, and the headline was 12% explosive plays. And if they can get their offense running at 12%, 12% of their plays were explosive, they knew that their offense was on the right track, and they were going to put up some big numbers. Okay, we had 37% of our plays. 37. Okay, that's a huge number. We're explosive. That's so much fun, and so much fun to watch on the field. Okay, but the thing that I love the most is this last piece, and I want to highlight this the most to you, especially you youth coaches, where it's all about getting kids involved and giving them the experience and making sure they're ready for the next level. Guys, 14 players on our team caught passes. Okay, 14 different players, 6 scored touchdowns. 12 players ran the ball, 6 scored touchdowns as well. 6 different players, scored touchdowns. So that's what I'm most proud of, guys, and that's where I think the value really comes in, to create a certain experience for these kids, for these parents who are very involved at this young age, and for the coaches, man. It's just fun. It's fun to play this style of ball. So I'm going to try to talk to you guys into considering this. Your players are capable, and not only are they capable, they deserve to play this style of football, okay? So the air raid principles. So let's talk about this, because this is absolutely essentially a cheat sheet on what you're going to need to know when you're going to coach this style of football, okay? So number one about the air raid, it's all about getting the ball to your athletes in space, okay, and letting them go make plays. We're lucky we have a talent-rich area to draw from. I know there's a lot of talented kids out there, and that's why we want to play this style of brand, so we're attracting kids from different sports, okay? And so if we can get the ball out in space to our players and let them make plays, one-on-one on the edges or two-on-three on the edges, good things are going to happen, okay? I promise. So quarterbacks and receivers have very simple rules. They come up to the line of scrimmage, and we'll get into this, but it's not rocket science. They just look for one key, and then they can go. You don't need a quarterback with a cannon. That's one thing that I keep hearing. You don't. You just need a quarterback that loves ball. We all know that one or two kids that are just like, that love it. You need a kid that loves ball, that will kind of work with you a little bit on understanding how this works. And then if you can throw 20 yards, you're golden. Okay, it's not about arm strength. 53.33 yards is the width of the field, and then plus 20. So air raid teams attack the width of the field, all 53 yards. And for middle school, we talk about 20 yards downfield. Okay, older high school, college goes 30 to 40 yards downfield, but we're attacking the width horizontally and 20 yards vertically at all times. That's extremely hard for any level to guard a whole field like that, let alone youth, where there's a lot of young men out there that are just playing for the first time. So it's something that you can take advantage of as a youth football coach. Okay, balance. We grew up thinking about the balance of our offense. 50% run, 50% pass. If we could do that, we're in good shape. You need to kind of redefine that in your mind, okay? Kind of flip it, and it's redefined now, okay? It is how many different positions are adding value to your offense. How many different positions are catching balls and making plays, or running the ball and making a play. I don't care if you have to run it or throw it or hand it off to him or throw it to him. It's more about who's adding value. And again, it's hard for a defense to scheme against that. And in youth football, it's hard to have playmakers at every position on defense. So it's extremely hard to guard. Okay, and then the secret sauce to the whole thing, guys, is going all in, no matter what offense it is. You guys know, you wing T guys or you triple option guys. You guys know if you are going to go run an offense, you have to go all in with it. It's no different for air raid. Okay. Air raid, we structure practice a certain way. We make sure that there's 3 or 4 everyday drills that kind of ingrain the air raid philosophy into these kids' minds, and it's no different. So I will share with you guys my practice plans, my install plans, everything that we can do to make your life easier. I'm here for that. My YouTube channel has all these videos and cut-ups. I'm not charging anything. I just want to get the information out to you guys, so please go check that out as well. Okay, so the 4 facets of the game, we're going to get into each of these individually, and this is kind of where I will break out some film and the plays to it. But there's 4 facets of offense: the quick game, the drop back game, the screen game, and the run game. Okay, and we'll get into each of these. We have very few plays to work with on these. So, this is all about having a small playbook, getting really good at that small playbook, letting these kids all they have to worry about is going and playing ball. They're going to memorize these plays very easily, and then they can just turn off their brains and just go play ball. All right, so let's start with the quick game, guys. So quick game is just like it sounds. They're quick passes. So traditionally, a three-step drop. That's what we consider our quick game, a three-step drop, and he's kind of throwing on rhythm. If you're in the shotgun like we are most of the time, it's kind of a one-step drop, maybe even a rocker step, and an easy pass and an easy read into the open grass, and we'll get into that in a second. But one thing I wanted to mention is with our quick game, and I'm going to show you this, with our quick game passes, when we come up to the line of scrimmage, even though we might call a Y stick or a Y corner, we're always looking at the defense coming up to the line of scrimmage. We're going to be able to take advantage if the backside receivers are not being covered 7 yards or deeper. In that case, we'll train them in practice. They don't need to say anything to each other. The receiver knows he's running that three-step stick, hitch, whatever you want to call it, and the quarterback is just going to turn and fire out there and get the ball in space. So in our quick game offense, we're going to call plays like Y stick, Y corner, and in those plays, even though if we call those, we're going to look for easy gifts. So a lot of coaches call these gifts. We call it easy money just because it's, to me, that's what comes out of my mouth when I see that. So stick and corner, and then all verts. We run all verts or 4 verts in the traditional air raid nomenclature. All verts, we run it as a quick game. I know a lot of coaches run that at higher levels as a drop back game because they want to explode down the field, and we will get there. But I'm going to show you how that works for us and how we run it as a quick game, and it sets the tone because it's actually the first play we install. Our spring ball starts literally tomorrow, and the first thing that we're going to install is all verts because it sets the tone and it sets the philosophy even more for the entire offense. So let's get into that. Let me just show you real quick before we get into all verts. I just want to show you our formations because we just sit in 3 distinct formations. We don't want to get too complicated for these kids. So we've all probably seen ACE, which is our 2x2 set. We grew up calling it quads, but whatever. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right, quarterback in the shotgun, and a running back set with him in the back. So that's ACE. We run that way. We got our 3x1 here. So early is our trio to the right, and late is our trio to the left. So we have a 3x1 set as well. Let me back up here. So as you can see in all these diagrams, L, so the traditional X receiver, that as you guys probably know it, we rebranded it as L. We're not the only ones. I've seen it out online quite a bit. I'm not making this stuff up, guys. This is stuff that I've taken from great coaches that have put in great information online, like Coach Ron Mackey, Coach Joe Salas, Patrick Taylor, Coach Colthrop. They've all put some really great thought into this. This I stole from Coach Ron Mackey, but we have the L instead of X. He's always going to be on the left side. He's always going to be on the line, okay? So he's learning his handful of routes from that position. He's going to be an expert at running his routes from the left side. Our R is always on the right side, so it's your traditional Z. He's always on the line. He's always going to be running his routes from this position. He's going to be an expert at running his routes from this position. Our F and our Y, essentially our slot receivers, they're always off the ball because we want to kind of play games with motion with them when we feel like it. So F is kind of a hybrid player. He's sometimes he'll come back in the backfield. If you look down here at our green formation, our 2-back formation, he's kind of a tailback type, but also can play in the slot. So he's probably one of your better all-around athletes. Excuse me. We also play a lot of jet sweep with him and motions. And then the Y, we were very lucky last year. You'll see on film in a second here. We were extremely lucky because we had a Y that could put his hand in the dirt and play down like a regular traditional tight end, but he was also athletic enough to stand up in the slot. And so we had him, great Y, but we also had guys behind him that were more of the traditional slot receivers, learning and running plays, and we kind of changed per personnel what we were trying to accomplish. We'd be able to change them out accordingly. But you can do it either as a traditional Y or a slot Y or both, like we did. The T is just what it sounds like. I put a T there because I want this to be a tailback. I was a tailback growing up. I love fullbacks, but in youth football, this is still going to be an athlete. And we'll show you that they get to run the ball quite a bit, but the T is the running back essentially. And so if you look at all these formations, so we have our 2x2 ace, we have our 3x1, and if you look here, I put 13 next to it because it's, in my mind, I see the one receiver to the left and the three receivers to the right. And then our late is our trio to the left, which is three receivers left and one receiver right. And if you look at this, all the rules stay the same. Those left receiver, the L is staying on the left, the R receiver is staying on the right. And then if you look at on the trio, the rules are the Y is always between the F and the R. You see on the early and late, Y is always between them. And the F is always between the Y and the line and the lineman. Okay, so regardless of when they flip, they know, and you teach them early on, they pick it up fast. The Y is always in between the two receivers, and they learn that. And so our last formation is our two-back spread. We can run all of our plays from these three formations. The quarterback, you'll see in a second, the quarterback is learning his grass reads. They're all the same in all of these formations, and like I said, we only have five pass plays, and they're going to be experts at those 5 plays, okay? All right, so let's take it over to the playbook. And so like I mentioned, the first thing that we install is all verts because philosophy-wise, it teaches them the mentality that we want to get across. And the mentality is, when am I open, okay? So when the receivers, we call this play ace all verts, the receivers come to the line and they're asking themselves, when am I open? Okay, when am I open? That's all they need to ask themselves in this play. And the quarterback is asking himself, who is open right now? Okay, so on the screen you can see we're lined up here in ace all verts. And who is open right now? If you look over here to the left side, this cornerback is 7 yards or more off. So right now, the open grass for this L is right 3 yards in front of him. So he automatically, because the way we practice, he knows, without even having to look at the quarterback, he's running a 3-step stick. And the quarterback knows, without having to say anything, that L is running a 3-step stick. He's going to turn, put his hands up, settle and noose is one of the drills we do every day. So he's going to go ahead, 3-step stick, turn around, noose up. And the quarterback is just going to take the ball almost like a shortstop, fire it out there, and we've already accomplished our goal, okay? Getting our players, one of our best players, on the edge with the ball in his hand, one-on-one. And in youth football, guys, I hate to say it, but we're going to take advantage. You don't usually put your best athletes out on the corner in youth, okay? So, it's football. We're going to take advantage of mismatches, and we've already done that just on the very first play, with a very easy call. Now, you'll see a lot of these plays kind of drawn up with a three linebacker formations on the defense. There's a lot of 5-3s out there in youth football. If you coach in youth, you know I'm right. We saw it even most of the season after we were spreading people out. We still saw 3 linebacker formations. Some of them went to a 4-4 at some point, but even with that, that's fine. So if you're looking at this right now, who is open now? F is open now, so he's running the 3-step stick. Quarterback can choose between one of those two. Whoever he feels more comfortable with, whatever leverage he sees, they're both going to run their 3-step stick. The quarterback is going to pick one and fire it out there, okay? This Y, his open grass is behind in the back half of the tube, so he's outside release and running a go. R, same thing. These guys pressed up on him a little closer, so his grass is behind. So he's going to do an outside release go as well. Okay, so we are trying to get the ball out quickly. It's a quick game play for us because we want to take advantage of all these situations. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, they're going to adjust, and they do. So that's great. We have a plan for that. So let's just say that now this cornerback on the left is down. This Will has come over and covered up the F. And now we have either they have a 4-man linebacker core or a 3. It doesn't really matter. The main point is that these receivers, all of their open grass is behind the defender. And so we have a certain read for that. So we are keying the safety on this. And the quarterback knows we're going to key the safety, but he's going to look to throw F to Y to T. Okay? F to Y to T. So quarterback comes up the line. All the receivers are covered 7 yards or closer, and he's going to snap the ball And as he does that, he drops back and looks at the safety. If this safety drops straight back or to his left, he is going to throw a nice easy shot over here to F. Okay? Easy. If the quarterback or if the safety goes to his right at all, the quarterback is going to throw it to Y, who now in youth, guys, as you probably know, 90% of the time it's a cover 3 zone. So the linebackers are widening, and so we're going to have open zones here in this formation. So if the F is covered, then the throws to the Y. And I'm going to show you on film how this works. And then so F to Y, and if for whatever reason they start bailing out and getting back on both these, then T is going to run an angle and find some open grass over the middle. And so the quarterback can just dump it off easily or just take off and run at that point. Now you're saying, what about L and R? They are not out of this. Our coaches, our wide receiver coaches, and our L and R are always talking, hey, let us know if those cornerbacks are sitting or squatting in zone. It doesn't happen much. They rarely do. They rarely sit in zone. They usually turn and run with these guys because they got deep thirds in youth football. But we want to know that, because if we see that and it's told to us, then we can take a shot and literally call that later on. Okay, so let's move on to the other formations. So very much the same thing. If we go early, which is our trio right, we come up to the line of scrimmage. Who is open now? Again, the L's open, so he's going to turn and throw real fast. Let's say they adjust. Same rules apply. So we are going to read this safety. Again, this is what it looks like typically when we come out and we go trips or trio right, whatever you want to call it. We call it early because it means our trio set to the right. And when we're going fast and going no huddle, we want to just keep as few words as possible. And this is actually air raid terminology as well. So everyone's covered. All the open grass is behind the defenders, 7 yards or more. We're still playing the same game with the safety. Okay. F is going to bend his vertical in front of the safety. This is usually how they play us, but even if he's over in the middle of the field, we're going to tell the F to bend it in front, and then we're going to tell the Y to bend it behind. And so again, these linebackers are generally in zone. So if the safety goes straight back or to his left, we're going to throw it to F. If he goes toward the F, we're going to throw it to Y. Nice and easy. And again, we're going to always be communicating with the outside receivers, making sure we know if we can take shots later on. Okay, same thing in all verts. And so you can see how this works in all of our plays. Again, the quarterbacks and receivers haven't learned anything new. We install this, we rep it in practice, and there's a systematic way to do that. Okay, so we'll show you how that all works. All right, so let's go over and watch some film. All right, so let's go. All right, you might need to edit this part. I thought I had it open, but it didn't.
That's fine.
Okay, so now I'm going to go to film. Okay. Do you want to clap or something to know?
No, you're fine.
Okay, well, good. Okay. Oops. Okay, here we are. So on to film review. So here we are in ace, all verts. Pre-snap, come up to the line of scrimmage. Who is open now? That's what the quarterback's thinking. And your receivers are thinking, when am I open? So looking pre-snap, this gentleman is wide open. That person is 9 yards off. This guy is not open. He needs to push outside release go. Our Y needs to get outside release go. And this guy is about 7 yards, so he should be breaking off his route, okay? Let's run the film. 3-yard stick, catching the ball in space, and we're 2nd and 9, just that quickly. Okay, pre-snap look. Who is open now? He is not. He needs to get over the top and get to the open grass behind. He is open now, so he should be breaking this off. He needs to get over the top, outside release, go. This is, he's about 6, so he needs to get over the top, outside release, go. And you can see the quarterback sees that receiver break it off. Now, it's a little bit deeper than we want. It looks like the F was trying to, or the Y was trying to get over the top. Realized he couldn't, so he broke off the route, which is fine. You know, 3 steps is what we want the most, but you know, this is what I'm talking about, guys. If you practice this the right way, your quarterbacks and receivers will sync up and really get to know each other and really understand what page they're on. Okay. And again, I apologize. We're going through this so fast. There's a lot of content to get through. I do have a YouTube channel as well that all these cut-ups are on there, so you can kind of take your time and look at them. There's no charge for it. I just want to give this information to youth coaches so they can feel comfortable installing this and letting their kids play like this. But I'm going to go through just to make sure you understand the concepts that we're trying to get through, and then from there you can hit me up, and I'm happy to share anything with you guys that you guys want. Practice plans, video, whatever the case may be. Okay, so here we go. Who is open now? Again, ace, all verts. So he is covered. He needs to get over the top. He's covered. He needs to get over the top. Outside release, go. And this guy's right at about 6 or 7. So he's gonna need to get over the top. Okay. So now, here we go. Now the quarterback says, okay, there's no easy money. There's no gifts. So I'm looking at the safety. If the safety goes straight back or to his left, we are throwing to this F. Now, you know, I want you guys to trust me here. These in our league in youth football, these guys, these linebackers, they got 4 linebackers here. They're running zone, okay? So all we need to do is press to get over the top of them, 5 yards, and the quarterback can read the safety from there. Let's let it run. Outside release, go. Quarterback sees the safety lagging, hits him for a 40-yard touchdown. Okay, this is the first game of the season. It's not like we practiced this throughout an entire season. That's the first game. Now we practice it in camp, so absolutely. But the way you do practices in air raid, like I mentioned earlier, is everything. So go all in, teach these philosophies, and they will get on the same page. Okay, next play, we're in our early set, trio to the right. Who is open now? This guy's open. Okay, quarterback knows, receiver knows without even looking at each other. 3-step stick. F needs to get over the top, outside release. Y, outside release, go. And this is a borderline, but yeah, he'll probably break it off as well. Who's open now? Okay, who is open now? So as you can see, our goal here is to get the ball to our athletes in space. And here we go. A 3-yard stick turns into a 33-yard touchdown. Okay, this is round 1 of the playoffs. Easy pickings, guys. All right, and we can kind of do this all day. We had 14 touchdowns with all verts this year. Might have been my favorite play, although I'll show you corner in a second. That was also pretty awesome. But again, here's another look at it. Who's open now? He has to get over the top. Out here, he's being pressed. He needs to get beyond this gentleman. He needs to get beyond this. This guy will do a 3-step stick here because that cornerback is way off. Now in this game, they came out in this look with no safety. So in that scenario, we knew one of our best players, F, was being guarded one-on-one man. So when we see that, we're going to tell our quarterback, just give it one little extra beat. If we can get F even with this guy within that quick drop, then we're going to throw it over the top. And it's exactly what we did. So we can make game time adjustments, guys. These kids are smart. 8th graders are smart. They know what they're looking at. They know if they can beat somebody. And again, here we go. A 40-yard, no, that's a 62-yard touchdown. Okay? For some reason, people started playing us in man once in a while. Again, this is the same look. No safety. Okay? We're going to put our best athlete in the slot against an outside linebacker. That is curtains all day. Okay, another touchdown. I could let this run. Again, we have cut-ups on our website or on our YouTube channel, so please check it out. There's, like I said, 14 touchdowns. All right, so that's quick game number 1. All verts, it's where we kind of start and set the tone for our offense. Now let's go to quick game number 2, which is a common play stick concept. Now, this stick it's run at every level of football, youth. As you can see, we do it. High school, it's huge. College, it's huge. But even the pros, the Saints have a really cool version of this. The Chiefs, Niner fan here, so I didn't love seeing it, but they have a cool version of this, and it's just basic football. So as you can see to the right here, it's our stick concept. But as I mentioned earlier, we come up to the line of scrimmage when we call a quick game concept. Even though we called Y stick over here, the concept, quarterback is trained to look backside. The backside receivers are trained to be ready for the ball. So backside on our quick game concepts, to keep it simple, they're running 3-step sticks regardless of what's going on. But if we look over here and this cornerback is 7 yards off or more, he's expecting the ball. If this F is uncovered again, or the linebacker is 7 yards off or more, he's expecting the ball. So in this scenario, what you're seeing here right now, we come to the line, I signal in Y stick, okay? They look backside. Forget what coach said about Y stick. We're going to take this easy money gift. He's going to take the ball like a shortstop, shoot it out there to F, and we got F, one of our best players, if not our best athlete, in space with the ball, one-on-one. He's going to get 5 yards regardless. Maybe he goes for more, okay? All right, so they adjust. They get sick of us taking those gifts on them. Okay, now F is covered and L is covered. So we're going to run the concept, which is so much fun for these kids to run because it's simple reads, okay? So we're going to see real quick that our quarterback is always reading 3 patches of grass, I should say. They're going to read the flats grass. They're going to read the kind of hook to curl grass. And then in this scenario, they're going to kind of read this deep third grass last. In corner, the next concept is the same 3 grass patches, but we're just going to kind of switch it. But we'll get to that. So for stick, basically we're going to look on these 2 patches of grass, okay? The R, let me start there, is running an outside release go. It needs to be a mandatory outside release. This cornerback, who typically is in deep third zone coverage, will turn and run with him because he needs to get back. We want the R to run outside release go and then restack on the numbers to get the right angle on him. So we really want this cornerback to turn and run, and he typically does. So that opens up this flat grass. So the quarterback says hike, he takes his 1-step drop, he's looking over to this grass area. And typically speaking, it's this SAM that will affect it. We don't ask him to read the SAM, we just ask him to see where there is open grass and no color. Okay, so if this SAM is flashing out here to cover the flats, as a lot of defensive coaches have you cover, their outside linebackers cover the flats, or if he has T for whatever reason, man, he's going to get out to the flats pretty quickly. And so if he vacates this area, we're going to have Y run a stick right where he's replacing the SAM. And quarterback is going to see there's no color in that hook to curl grass and throw a nice easy 5-yard throw to Y. Now if Sam has hook to curl or has the Y, so if he backs up or settles where he is, we're throwing an easy swing to T. And again, we have one of our best athletes in space, in open grass, not trying to power through 8 guys in the middle of the field, but he's in open space and running with the ball, okay? Now, don't, tell your R's, don't worry, let's communicate. If that cornerback is lazy, if he's not getting back, if you clearly can beat him, let us know. We'll call the shot play for you. But in stick, we're reading that hook to curl grass and the flats grass, okay? And as you kind of go through our formations with this, you can see it. The quarterbacks we're very consistent with what we're teaching the quarterbacks and what they're learning, okay? So if you look out to the left, we can run it with F stick. We can run it out of late. So if we go our 3x1 set, which turns into one of our favorite formations when we go 3x1 left or right, the quarterback is the same exact routes here. The outside receiver is doing the outside release go and restacking on the numbers. The Y, who's always between the L and the F, is still running that stick at the outside linebacker. Now we do have, since we have 3 receivers to one side, F is going to run that the route that takes care of the flats. We call this an arrow or a shoot, whatever you want to call it. T is check swinging to the other side. But again, keep me honest. We come up to the line of scrimmage. We have late Y stick. We look backside to the R. Is he open now? That cornerback 7 yards off or more. So regardless of the fact that we called Y stick to the left side of the field, he looks backside. That guy's open. We're taking all the easy money we can handle, and we're going to take it until they stop us and make us stop doing it. It's a frustrating thing for coaches to have to do that. So here we go, 3-by-1 to the right. Same thing, come to the line of scrimmage, look backside. Is there a gift for us? Is there easy money? In this scenario, there's not. So we're going to run the concept. And the quarterback, again, is still reading the same 3 patches of grass. Hook to curl, flats, and deep third, okay? So let's get to the film. I'll show you what stick looks like on film here with this level of football. All right, perfect. All right, so we come out here in early Y stick. So here we have the Y running the stick, the F running the shoot, and the R outside release go, and then restacking. Now, come up to the line. Even though we called Y stick on the right side, we're looking backside first. We're training our quarterbacks, come up to the line, look backside. That guy is 8 yards off. Okay? Guess what happens? We're taking that easy money. You see the concept happening you see the concept actually still going on. We're still running Y stick like we're supposed to, but we don't even have to run a play. We're not even running the play that we called. We're not burning the play that we called. We are taking free yards every chance we get. Okay, here we go again. Early to the right, but pre-snap, we're looking backside. Guys, it's a pretty cool thing as a coach to be able to train your players to work like this and watch them learn it and do it for themselves. And you can kind of take the gloves off and let them run the offense. It's actually really great. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. We're running F stick, so it's the same thing, but to the left side of the field. So this is play number 1, if you can see at the top of the screen. So F is running the stick, L is running the outside release go, and this T is swinging. Okay, so we look backside first. He's about 6 yards, so that's dead. This R, it's about 7, so it's kind of borderline. So I would hope the quarterback would take advantage of this. I mentioned it to him in film review, but I'm not mad. I mean, it's just one of those things where if it's borderline, let's run the concept and run a play. Okay, so this is the first play of the season. Again, we are reading grass, right? Is there open grass here or is there open grass here? And it's kind of predicated on this outside linebacker. If he hesitates or drops back at all, and we think that stick is going to get influenced at all, we're just going to swing it to the running back. First play of the season, that linebacker kind of sits in that hook to curl, so it's just a swing to one of our best players. It's a 4-yard gain, and he's one-on-one on the edge. He could very well break it. Later in the season, he breaks those for long touchdowns. But we're happy. It's a nice, easy pitch and catch. 4-yard gain on the first play. And now here we go, late formation, trio to the left. You can't really see backside, but I don't know if you can see it on the top of the screen. It's 4th and 5, and we need 5 yards. And so against this defense, we know that there's open grass pockets, so we run stick. And so here is our slot Y, kind of running a slot here, or a hitch right where that outside linebacker is. Here is the shoot and outside release go. This guy is 7 yards or closer, so the backside is dead. So I want you to see how this Y kind of settles into the open grass, kind of reading that the outside linebacker is going with that F. And again, the quarterback is a super smart quarterback. He lets it develop, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch these kids settle in open grass. And again, one of our main first down, keep the chains moving. One of our main everyday drills is settle and noose. So we're teaching the kids to settle into the relationship between linebackers, throw their hands up, and let the quarterback just find them nice and easy. We're hitting sitting targets in open grass. And then from there, they can go make a play. That's the whole point of this offense. Okay, so one thing I want to mention, stick is a very great concept to run tags off of. Okay, so you saw a couple of ways that we run stick, and we hit the running back, or we hit the guy that's actually running the stick in open grass. Now, it's a great play for us to run tags off of. So again, we only have 5 passing plays, so they become experts at these plays very quickly. And so when we start to feel comfortable with that, we can start tagging other things within that route concept. So here we are in late, 3 receivers to the left, Y stick. They are running the same concept over there, stick, shoot, outside release, go. But as I've mentioned, our outside receivers are very much in communication with us. Hey, coach, and this is exactly what happened in this scenario. We're down on our own 9-yard line, and the whole game, our receiver's like, hey, coach, I got this. This cornerback can't guard me. He can't guard me. I asked the quarterback. It's true. Let's go after him. Okay, good. These kids are confident in. I'm confident. So instead of him running an outside release go, we tag it. Early, Y stick, R skinny. So that's what we call R skinny post. Okay, if they think they're so confident in this, why wouldn't you be as a coach? Okay, so as you can see there, that's a 91-yard touchdown. This is a 13-year-old kid getting to score a 91-yard touchdown with full pads on in his helmet in front of his friends and family. He gets his huddle highlight, and he's a legend at school. Okay, here we go. Late Y stick. Unfortunately for this kid, it's the same cornerback we're picking on. Late Y stick, R slant. And as you can see, instead of the outside release go that we usually have, it's a slant and it's a touchdown. Okay, again, just easy adjustments you can make on the fly with this offense. You're not stuck doing just one thing. Okay, all right, so that's quick game concept number 2. All right, so let's move on to our third quick game concept. And our last quick game concept, again, we're trying to keep a small playbook just so these kids can master it. So the third quick game concept is Y corner. The corner concept, I talk about my favorite play. All verts, we scored 14 touchdowns this year. Y corner, we scored 13. And my favorite thing about this play is that it's good anywhere on the field. You can call it coming out, you can call it in the middle of the field, or you can call it in the red zone. And in the red zone is probably one of the better red zone plays, especially if you're playing against cover 3 teams like we see primarily. Okay, so again, with any quick game, we come up to the line of scrimmage. We call ace Y corner, but we look backside. Is there free money? Is there a gift, as a lot of coaches call it? And in this scenario, as you can see, yeah, that cornerback on the L is over 7 yards off of him, so he's already running 3-step stick. The backside is already running 3-step sticks, but he's going to be expecting the ball now. The F, same thing, 3-step stick, but he's going to be expecting the ball now because he is not even covered. So the quarterback, again, even though he knows he's supposed to run Y corner, we're going to take that easy money. We're not going to waste a play. We're not going to show the other team anything. We're just going to take that easy money throw and get our best players out in space against probably not one of their best players. Okay, so again, they adjust, they start covering up these backside receivers. We're going to go ahead and run the concept. And it's the same patches of grass as Y stick, the deep third grass, the flats grass, and the hook to curl grass, but we're just going to do it in a different way, because since it is cover 3 that we see most oftenly, it's this cornerback out here, okay? And they do typically put these corners at about 4 yards or so. So the crazy thing is, unless he turns and just bails out to get to his deep third, we're going to throw this Y corner all day long. Okay, the Y is running a 4-step corner route. We went between 6-yard corner, 5-yard corner. The timing, we had to get that down early in the season. We settled on 4-step corner, got the timing right. So again, he's running a 4-step corner, and he's expecting the ball, because most of the time that cornerback out there, if he's at 5 yards or 4 yards, he really can't get back there into that zone unless he's burning out back there. Okay, so let's just say the most common adjustment we saw was the cornerback just lining up 7 yards deep on the concept side. And so let's say that's off. Now the quarterback is coming down and playing the same exact game that he was playing with stick. We are reading the flats grass. and the hook to curl grass. And so this R is running the snag. I'd never heard of the snag before I started getting into air raid. It's essentially a one-step slant and sit. So slant and sit, snag, that's basically what it is. So this R is running a slant right at the heels of this outside linebacker. And as we do in our everyday drills, he is going to settle and noose in the open grass in between these defenders. So typically it's between this Sam and this Mike, but he's running at the heels of the Sam, finding the open grass, throwing his hands up, and the quarterback is going to hit him if he's in the open grass at the 5-yard pass. Now, if the Sam goes out to the flats and he flashes color out in the flats, whether he's been told to take the flats or if he's coming with this T that's on the swing, we're going to throw that snag. If he stays in the hook to curl and that color is in that hook to curl grass, we are going to throw the swing to the T. Okay, it's a nice, easy game. Again, the quarterback's already getting used to that same read with stick. So again, we're trying to keep it as easy as simple as possible. If you see in our 3x1 set, same exact thing, same exact reads for the quarterback. We're peeking backside. If that's turned off, we're going to go look at this corner. If he's doing anything but bailing out, we're throwing that corner. If he does adjust and he's back there, then we're going to play this game with the flats and the hook to curl. And now the R is still running the snag. The Y is still running the corner. We have the F running the flats route, taking care of that part of the field. The T is check swinging the other side, but essentially everyone's doing the same exact thing. And the quarterback, most importantly, isn't learning anything new. Okay. And then if you look at so that's out of 3x1. Same thing to the other side, same exact concept. And then let me show you out of our 2-back set, it actually is exactly the same as our 2x2 set. The only difference is the F, instead of being in the slot, is in the backfield now. But the R is doing the same thing, the Y is doing the same thing, and the T is doing the same thing. Okay. So now let's go to watch some film real quickly here. Okay, let me just widen that out for you. Okay, so as you can see, we are in our 2x2 set. As I mentioned earlier, we were lucky enough to have a hand down tight end, so we would kind of play games with that a little bit. But essentially, the Y is running the 4-step corner, this R is running the snag, and the T is swinging. Okay, backside, we come to the line of scrimmage, obviously first, looking for gifts. That's shut down. That they're within 7 yards, so we're going to run the concept. And so again, like I said, it's all about what this cornerback is doing. He's about 4 yards off. If he hesitates or does anything but bail out, we're throwing that corner route. And as you can see, he kind of hops, skips, kind of settles around, and so he cannot get back, and that's a touchdown. Now, I do want to point out one thing. We know it's a touchdown, so we don't have to look at the Y anymore. I want you to look at what this R is doing, okay? I want you to see the mentality that the way we practice and the easy way that you can practice as well will teach these receivers how to find open grass and the mentality behind hunting for grass, okay? So he's running a snag. He's trying to find grass either in front or behind this outside linebacker. You can see that he tries to settle in on the outside of him, figures out pretty quickly that he needs to be on the other side of him. And, we're preaching for them to be very intentional with what they're doing. But early in the season, it's the first game. It's a good sign to watch a kid kind of, there's the grass behind him. I'm going to settle, put my hands up. And that's a good sign for us as coaches that they're understanding what's going on, okay? So here we go. We are early wide corner. Come up to the line, look backside. That's dead. The guy's only 5 yards off. So we have the Y running the corner, the R running the snag, and the F running the shoot. Now they've adjusted. There's this corner back out here is now 7 yards off. Okay, so now we know that pretty much that deep third is dead. The corner is dead. So now the quarterback is going to run the game with the hook to curl grass and the flats grass. And as you can see here, another great sign. This is a different R running this route. But as you can see, because we practice a certain way, They're figuring out how to find open grass. Watch how he hunts for open grass. Watch how he settles in, puts his hands up. Quarterback sees it. That was 3rd and 9. He got 10 yards. Move the chains. Okay. Here we go again. Pre-snap look. Pre-snap look. We see that concept side corner way back here. Okay. They're trying to take away that corner route, which means all the quarterback has to do is look in the flats or look and hook to curl. Where is their not color? So as you can see, the R again settles into open grass, puts his hands up, turns a 5-yard catch into a 35-yard gain. All right, easy pickings. Okay, again, so we're looking pre-snap. This cornerback is lined up properly, so we need to peek at him. If he does anything but bail out, we're throwing that corner. He does not bail out. We throw the corner, and it's a touchdown. Okay, guys, it's just get the ball out. Easy reads. Any 14-year-old, 13-year-old can do it. I'm confident of that. The last thing I want to say about quick game is that we have the built-in hot route, which is the running back. We've taught our quarterbacks, if they get any pressure at all, if they feel any pressure, just turn and dump it to the running back. Time and time again, we see covering running backs out of the backfield is super hard for these youth linebackers. So as you can see here, quarterback comes up to the line, gets a little pressure, and he just turns and dumps it to the tee. And our running back was super solid. Yours probably is too. You get him one-on-one, typically they're going to make things happen. He scored a 30-yard touchdown on that one. Okay. All right, great. So that is our Y corner. Again, we have cut-ups on our YouTube channel, so please visit. We have way more than that. We scored 13 touchdowns with that. But go check it out. Love to show you anything you need. Okay, so let's move on to our next facet, the drop back game. Okay, so in the drop back game, we do not have easy money calls. We're not going to look backside. These are traditionally the 5-step drop from under center, or if we're in shotgun, it's a 3-step drop. It takes a little longer to develop. We're only calling this one of these concepts for a very specific reason. Maybe it's 3rd and long, or maybe we see a defensive look that we want to take advantage of. But we want them to run the plays when we call these plays. There's not going to be easy money being looked for pre-snap. Okay, so routes are to drop back game concepts are shallow cross, a lot of people call it, and mesh. Okay, and so just to give you kind of frame it in your mind, quick game we call probably 70% of the time, maybe a little bit more. It is what we spend the majority of our time calling. Drop back game, maybe about 10%, 15% of the time we'll call it drop back game. Okay, so let me take you over to the playbook real quick for that. So we'll start with shallow. Okay, so as you can see here, here's our 2x2 set. Shallow, a lot of coaches call it shallow cross. Same exact thing to me. Okay, so the quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage, and we're running this play. Okay, so the game is between these 3 players here, the F, the Y, and the T. And the first goal, the first read is to see if we can get this F in open space on the grass out here. Okay, so F is running as as shallow as you can do. Literally, we're telling him to run so close to the back of the defensive lineman that he can run by and knock him in the back if he could. We want him to be that close to the line of scrimmage. Okay, so his goal is to get across the field as quickly as possible, get into this open grass. The Y is running an outside release dig. We want to affect this outside linebacker. In this scenario, it's Sam. We want him to declare. In the best case scenario, he backs up with the Y, or even turns and runs with the Y, which is going to open this grass up for the F to catch a ball. And it might be one of the prettiest things in football to see a slot receiver do a shallow route, catch a ball in this open grass out here in the flats, and then turn it upfield for a big gain. So again, the Y is running the outside release outside release dig, I should say, trying to affect this linebacker. Now, at the higher levels, you see these Ys having the freedom to kind of find a pocket as they move across the field. We started with that, but we actually, by rule, after the first couple games, had him sitting in this first window by rule, just because that's typically where it's open anyway for us. We want to make it real easy for these quarterbacks to see him and just throw it out to him if he's open. Okay, so we by rule did that. So it goes F. If there's any color out here in the flats, he's going to look to Y, and likely there will be a open grass area here because this Sam, if he is covering out here in the grass, that will open up a space in between here, and he can easily hit the Y. And so if the Sam backs up or turns and goes with the Y, he's going to hit this open grass over here in the flats with the F. Now, if both of those are covered, or if the quarterback doesn't feel comfortable for whatever reason, he's going to throw it out to T. There's times where we actually tell the quarterback to go through the progressions, and no matter what he sees, throw it to the T, because, again, covering a running back at this level out of the backfield for that long is almost impossible for a middle school linebacker to have that in his mind, see all this action happening, and then somehow be disciplined enough to stay with a running back who's not even in the action. So sometimes we'll even call that. The R is always running, I should say, the R in this scenario is running a post behind, okay, behind the dig. And the L is running the outside release go and restacking on the numbers. Again, the L and R, don't feel like you're not in this. We always are communicating with them, with our coaches. This R is trained to kind of peek at the safety to see if he's cheating down, so we can take a shot later on and literally call it out for the quarterback to throw it to him. And as you can see, the progression going from this flats to this dig naturally goes up to the post again. So we can kind of build on that, okay? So now we also run this play out of our 3x1 set as well. And as you can see, we're keeping it simple for the quarterback and for the receivers. It's the same routes, just done from one side of the field to the other. One thing I should have said on the last slide, one just key as a coaching point, the T is always swinging away from the shallow. We want to make sure he's not drawing the linebacker into that shallow space, okay? But as you can see, the Y is running the shallow, the F is running the dig, and the R is running the post. And the post is always going to go behind the dig. So again, quarterback drops back. It's a 3-step or a 2-step drop from here. He's reading the outside, the grass to the flats where the shallow is happening. If there's color there, he's going to go to the dig. If there is not color there, we're going to try to hit that shallow as many times as possible. Okay, and then here out of the doing it the other way, same exact thing. Quarterbacks, same exact reads. We're trying to see if there's color in the flats to where we're running the shallow. If not, we're going to go dig to running back. Okay, and then I'm going to show you here on the film this play. But as you can see, we do this out of 2-back. We started doing this about halfway through the season because our F, they started jamming our F from getting across and running those shallows. So we put him in the backfield and did it from this scenario. Much easier for him to get through the line and get to that open grass, okay? So let me show you a couple clips of shallow here on film. Okay. So as you can see, it's our 2x2 set. We did have that hand on tight end, so he's running the shallow. He's looking to get into this open grass. This F is running the outside release dig, trying to affect this guy here. So if this guy does anything, if he backs up or covers the F, we know for sure that Y is coming open. And then here is the T swinging to the opposite side, okay? So that linebacker backs up, Sam backs up, which opens up the shallow underneath. It was 3rd and 5, and now it's 1st and 10. Okay, so here's our 2x2 set. We have F running the shallow, Y running the dig behind. This guy's running a post, and so quarterback is trying to see if there's any color in this grass, and this guy is probably going to be the one that will affect that grass. So as you can see, that guy blitzes, so the quarterback knows immediately there's going to be open grass, lets that F clear, touchdown. Okay, so here we go. Like I said earlier, we do run this at a 2x2. Here's the F now in the backfield. He's going to try to get through a little bit less congested so he can make a play. Y is running that dig, hunt route behind, and here's the post. And so the quarterback is reading this grass. We want to throw to open man in this grass, and typically this outside linebacker is the one that could affect it. So let's keep an eye on his progression there. That outside linebacker again blitzes, so he knows if he can hold the ball long enough to throw to that shallow and get our running back the ball, our F, kind of that hybrid player the ball, he's going to make plays. Okay. I think I skipped one. Okay, so here it is again. Now, if you can look pre-snap, there's a lot of, we're trying to get this area of the ball. There's a lot going on here. Here's a linebacker, it might be at the end. So, we really need to see if this color stays in this area. We got to look to this Y, running that hunt route, the dig behind, which, you see a lot of defenders in that, a lot of color in that area, so that Y kind of finds grass behind. There it is, nice and easy, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Okay, so that is shallow. Again, we have more cut-ups on our YouTube. I know I'm going through that pretty quick, but I do want to make sure we get to everything, and I am not taking too long to where you're going to turn me off. So here we go. Our second drop back game. Again, there's no gifts in these. We come to the line of scrimmage. We are running this for a very specific reason. Let me pause here and say that I was kind of a chicken about mesh this year. I kept hearing in all my studies that mesh is the best play ever. Some people call it the perfect pass. There's a book written about air raid that kind of does, and it might be the perfect pass. What I'm trying to get out to you is that I didn't run it. We practiced it in camp. We practiced it in the spring. We practiced it every day. I didn't run it till the end of the season. We were doing so well with the other plays. I had psyched myself out a little bit about running mesh. I wish I ran it more, because once we started running it, it was unstoppable. But here's the concept, right? So here we are, 2 by 2. We're going to basically be running mesh to the right. The R is going to get the ball 80, maybe 90% of the time. Okay, this cornerback typically will not have outside leverage, and the R is running an 8-yard speed out, which is rounded out, instead of the traditional way that we grew up, where you run 10 yards and then go 90 degrees to the side. We want the momentum to contain, so we want him to run straight for 8 yards to really push that cornerback back, but then start to round it at 8, and at about 10 yards be running toward the sideline. And so unless that cornerback is sitting in outside leverage, the ball is going to go out to them, and you're going to get 8 to 10 yards every time. Now, if he does get the outside leverage, we are looking down to T, who's running that swing or arrow route. And so it goes R to T. And, if this linebacker is sitting in his zone, you can throw this T. If he gets out to the flats, then we worry about the mesh. And so let's go through the mesh rules real quickly. As you can see, the Y and the F are crossing. That is where the mesh is happening. I probably should have drew this up better. The Y is always setting the mesh and is on top, and it's typically about 4 to 5 yards. We don't let them go more than 5. If Y goes over 5, he's going to get talked to about it. The older groups sometimes go 6, but we go 5, or we're trying to do 4 in the best case scenario. And it's the F's job to adjust to where Y is, and they're always slapping left hands. If you can get them into that mindset, then Y will always be on top, and he's always setting the mesh. And we literally have them slap hands in practice and in the games. Okay, so that is one way that they will always be tight enough to make this work. Okay, so Y is always setting the mesh, and this is the third read. Okay, so here's the rules. As they come through and mesh, most of the teams we play against are in zone. So they will widen like these linebackers are now. And again, we are going to teach them to settle a noose every day of practice, and that's what they're doing again here. So as they mesh, they're reading the outside linebacker that they're running toward. If he is clearly on a zone to the outside, hook to curl, or in the flats, the F is going to find the open grass in between that linebacker and the middle linebacker that he just ran past, settle up and noose those hands up there. And that's another 5-yard easy hitting a sitting target for the quarterback, okay? The Y is doing the same thing on the other side. Now, if they're in man, if we catch them in man, great. We want that. Instead of settling, those two guys continue to run through. They're in man. They're going to actually just continue to run, turn it up the hashes, and those turn into huge plays as well. So either way, that's why people call this the perfect pass, because no matter what the defense does, there's an answer for it. And if you rep it right in practice and you put in the right plans, these kids not only will know how to do it, they'll be able to do it at a high level. Okay. Let me just show you this out of, it's the same exact reads out of 3x1. As you can see here, the R is still doing what he's supposed to do. The F is now running the chute, but the measures are still the same. If you do it at 3x1, your L receiver will come down the line closer so he can get across and run his shallow, run his mesh route quicker. But essentially, it's all the same. Okay. So again, guys, I don't have too much film on this. I'll show you real quick. We have like 2 clips of it. I wish I ran it earlier. I really do. But really what I want to get across to you, since these the ball is going to the out or to the speed out more often than not, as you can see, this linebacker or this cornerback is way off. So we're not even going to get to the mesh on this. Okay. So as you can see, speed out, he hasn't broken stride. That's a 10-yard gain. Okay, nice and easy. This is in the championship game. We actually made a couple adjustments because we were trying to affect one of their best players, which is this outside linebacker here. So we actually put a player here to kind of run a dig at him to get him out of this. But again, here's the Y that's on the ball, running the mesh. This R was kind of thrown into that position. That's not his natural position, but he jumped in the championship game, the Turkey Bowl game, I should say, and jumped into this role. So he actually didn't run this right. But again, the ball is going to the out 8 times out of 10, and this is 4th and 7 in the Turkey Bowl, 8-yard gain, first down. You just can't cover that out. Okay, and then the last play, the last mesh film clip I'm going to show you guys. This is the NorCal title game. It's the first time all year that we did see a too-high safety. This is with 30 seconds left. They actually basically have 3 safeties in the game because they were trying to guard us from scoring, obviously. Now, we had been running this mesh since the first time we saw a too-high safety and the cornerbacks were sitting in the flat zone. We had been attacking with this out, kind of a bending corner all game long. And so I kind of saw this safety cheating up on this side, so we called mesh right, out and up instead of just the out, and it hit big. But if you can see on this play actually pretty well, you can see on this play actually pretty well, the mesher is going across and slapping hands. Here's our L cheating in, so he's coming across. Here's our Y, and they're going to mesh here. Again, we kept in this guy to draw down this linebacker and hopefully draw down this center safety. And then we hit that mesh out and up pretty good. And we have some pretty cool footage from the field as well where you can actually see the mesh happening. So there's the touchdown, mesh out and up, 30 seconds left in the NorCal title game. So you can see on this, from this view, there's the Y and the L. They're going to slap hands on the mesh. There's the number 22 is coming across right here as the L. He's going to slap hands with the Y as he goes across. Now, if you see, here's 22. He's coming in the mesh. He's wide open. But obviously the quarterback, as you can see, this is the R who has done his out and now is going up. And he is open enough to where we get a nice throw from the quarterback. Again, 30 seconds left in the game for the NorCal title. And these 13-year-old kids take it home, and they've just created memories that will last a lifetime. All right, so we've gone through our 3 quick game concepts, only 3, and our 2 drop back game concepts. And so literally that's our 5 passing plays. That's all they need. That's all you need, and you can start attacking. Now, obviously, as I've mentioned multiple times, I was a running back. I love running the ball. Okay, so we are going to run the ball and run it at a high rate and run it well. So let me move on, and I'm going to combine these last two things. I know we're getting a little long here. So run game and screen game, it really should be, and to me it is combined. We use our screen games a lot. These tunnel screens and these bubble screens are kind of our sweep, or kind of our sweep routes, if you will, our sweep plays. And then run games, I love gap scheme. I love running counter and power. So we'll get into how we kind of mesh those things together to create a lot of different concepts for the defense to have to really adjust for. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is show you in a combined way. We didn't do this last year. We ran GT counter, which a lot of you guys probably know GT counter well. As you can see in this scenario, we are in our early 3x1 to the right. And in GT counter, the front side, the play side linemen are doing down blocks, back blocks. So our right tackle in this is down blocking on the defensive tackle. The play side guard is back blocking on the nose tackle, and the center is back blocking on the defensive tackle on the backside. Okay, and so which that means is our backside guard is pulling and kicking out the D end, and our backside tackle is pulling and getting up the alley, and the running back is jab stepping, counter stepping, if you will, and following that tackle through the hole and up into daylight. Okay, so that is our GT tackle. That's my favorite run play, and it might be my favorite play in this offense, even though this is a passing offense. When this hits, it is the most beautiful thing in football. Okay, so now that's our GT counter. We run it a lot. It's my favorite run play by far. Now, if you look on the outside here, this is what we have. We call it a pedal screen. I'll explain why in a second, but a lot of coaches call it a bubble screen. But we see, you look out here and you see numbers. We have 3 receivers to 2 defenders. Okay, the safety up high, this is literally how they typically defend us. When we play games and we put 3 receivers out there, this safety does not count in the count of our quarterback. So we have 3-on-2 essentially out here. And so the way that we run our bubble screen, the reason we call it a pedal screen is that we have this F, and all the receivers take 1 hard step forward. So this F takes a hard step forward, comes straight back, and back pedals down the line of scrimmage facing the quarterback with his hands up high. Again, another noose drill, but he's backpedaling down the line. The Y goes and blocks the linebacker. The R goes and blocks the corner. And the quarterback is literally just pulling it and throwing it out there. Again, we have numbers, 3-on-2. We're going to take advantage of that as much as possible. So we call our bubble screens Roger to the right and Larry to the left, okay? I saw a great video recently from Joe Salas, Coach Joe Salas, one of the most respected names in air raid in the high school level and above, to be quite honest. He's combining these things. We didn't do this last year. I'm going to do it this year for sure. So basically, we're going to come to the line of scrimmage, have this play called where we can go either way. And if he looks out, the quarterback looks out to the right, and maybe I'll be yelling it from the sideline the first couple times to make sure they get it right. Youth ball is not too loud, so we can do that. If there's numbers, we are 3-on-2 outside, we're going to throw Roger, okay? All day, every day, and just keep taking all that easy money. Now, if they bring the safety down or get the nose tackle out and bring in another linebacker, or for whatever reason they even out these numbers, again, the safety high does not count the numbers. But if they get 3-on-3 down here within 5 yards, the quarterback's going to turn to his T and say, you. Regardless of what the quarterback's doing, throwing or running counter, the linemen are running GT counter no matter what. So they don't need any calls. They don't need this. We don't need to tell them anything. They're running GT counter in this scenario either way. So the quarterback will look for the numbers. If we're outnumbered on the edge, or even numbers, I should say, we're going to run counter. Quarterback's going to tell the running back, you're going to get it. He's just going to run his counter concept. If the quarterback sees the numbers that we have on the outside as an advantage, he's going to turn and throw it, okay? So 2 of my favorite plays, basically one is a sweep to the outside, extended handoff, and one is my favorite run play, GT counter. As you can imagine, we're going to do the same thing on the other, going the other way. So it's not any different. We're not teaching anything new. Same exact thing. Now, a lot of you O-line coaches might say, do you flip your line or not? I'd say if you need to get your best pullers to the backside, go for it. I've seen it done both ways. We were lucky enough last year to where we didn't have to flip. But at the youth level, you might only have 3 great linemen and 2 that are doing just fine. So you might need to flip. I don't see a problem with it. I've always grew up in an offense, the wing tee, that we did flip. So whatever you want to do there, I don't think it matters that much from a philosophy wise. Just do what you need to do to be successful. It would be my message on that. Okay, so let me show you what Larry looks like. So again, we call our pedal screens, we call them, but bubble screens, Larry and Roger. So as you can see out here, we are in late, and we've called late and Larry. And so as you can see, these defenders, it's 3 on these 2 are who we're counting. This safety doesn't count, and they're way off the ball. So yes, we want to run we want to run a 5-yard pass with numbers and get 12 yards. Like, just hand it to us. Okay, and maybe that breaks. Here we go again. We got late Larry. Here's the running back, 1 hard step forward and pedal screen, or back pedaling, I should say. And we have numbers out there again. And we are accomplishing our goal of getting our best athletes the ball in space, 10-yard gains every time. It was 2nd and 8. That's a first down. And then here we go again. We have the numbers. Here's Larry again. And if our goal is to prepare these kids for the next level, this is what it is. We're running spread. We get them out on the edges. We're letting them play ball, and we're letting them have fun. Look at this. This is a 50-yard touchdown on a 3-yard pass, guys. It doesn't get any better than that, okay? So now let me go to GT counter, because, again, one of my favorite plays, we have the play side down or back blocking, however you want to say that. We have our backside guard kicking out the end, and our backside tackle getting up the alley. This is out of our 2-back formation, and we can just let it roll because it is such a pretty play. Oh my gosh, look at that tackle coming through. Watch the tackle coming through, looking inside as he's taught, knocking a linebacker on his tuchus, and we are up and out the gate. Okay, another GT counter. As you can see, we're under center there. It looks kind of odd for us looking at it now, but as I mentioned, we are split back veer. That's our origin story early in the season. I was still trying to mesh it together a little bit, but it's the same exact blocking, down blocks, and then out and around with the guard on the backside kicking out, tackle coming up, and letting your athletes go make a play. And this is another 60-yard touchdown GT counter all day long. Okay, watch one more of these. Again, we have a bunch of cut-ups on there, but honestly, GT counter might be my favorite run play. Maybe my favorite play in the whole playbook, to be quite honest. Okay, so run game right there. We've taken care of off tackle counter play, and we've taken care of our sweeps, which basically we do as a bubble screen or a pedal screen. Okay. Now, since we do face a 5-man front, the majority of the time we do not have really that many inside runs. Our other run play, we run a fly sweep. Sometimes it takes very little to install a fly sweep, so we won't waste any time on that right now. The only other thing I'll show you is that we do run a form of power. We have a formation, our 2-back formation, but we call it strong or weak to place that fullback to the side of the quarterback, and we run a form of power. Okay, so just like most power plays, we got a fullback coming through the hole up to a linebacker. Now, if we do this out of our spread formation and we only have 5 linemen, the lineman on the very end will come down to take out the defensive lineman that's over the puller. which is the next person down the line. So in this scenario, it's a guard kicking out the D end. Obviously, our center needs to hook this nose tackle. That's a huge key to this, but if you teach that right, that can happen as well. So we got the kick out of the end, the fullback coming through, and the T is just coming straight down here like any other power play. Again, last year we didn't combine this with a bubble screen or a pedal screen. We're going to do that again out here. So if we get numbers, we're going to take it with the pedal screen. Again, if that draws another man out of the box so we can run the ball, I think that's the whole goal. And I think a lot of coaches don't realize the whole reason that the spread was created in the first place wasn't to throw the ball. It was to even out the numbers in the box, okay? So let's run the ball. Let's have a good time. But we can do that by giving a lot of more kids an opportunity to touch the ball. All right, so we'll do like 2 power clips, and we'll be done. So on this scenario, we did have a tight end in the game. So he's the one down blocking, and the tackle is the one that's going to do his fold block out here. Fullback is coming through, and the tailback is running the power. And we did this out of under center. We did it from 2-back spread, shotgun. Again, here we go, under center I formation. We can run out of various formations. If we have a tight end coming down, the tackle doing the fold block, and the running back coming through like a traditional power. You probably don't need to be drilling you guys on how to run power football games. You guys all probably know that like the back of your hands. I just wanted to show you some clips of us doing it. We're teaching football, guys. Spread football, air raid football is not some different type of flag football. It is true football. We're teaching all the same techniques, all the same philosophies that anyone else is. We just want to make sure that we're spreading the ball around to more people, to getting more kids involved. We want to bring the participation numbers back to football, guys. I know you high school coaches are feeling it. I believe the pipeline starts at the youth levels. I believe kids are not fighting to play football anymore. And unfortunately, I think it's because those basketball players don't fit that running back profile, guys. They just don't. And I want to give them a place on the football field at a young age so we can capture them at the youth level and then put them up through the high school level, which, by the way, the majority of high schools, at least in our area, and from what I've seen nationally, they're running spread. All the biggest teams, all the best teams, are running spread football. So if the goal of youth football is to get them ready for the next level, coaches, consider this. Reach out to me, whatever you need. I'll be happy to provide you with our practice plans, our install plans. I'm happy to jump on calls and go through this with you. So thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, my email is on here. There's a ton of great content besides me, Coach Mackey, Coach Salas, Coach Colthrop, Coach Taylor. They're all out there online for free. Visit my YouTube channel, email me. But thank you guys for paying attention for this long, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time learning more about the air raid.